Crafting attachments is something that I rarely see people do in this game. That's why today I'm going to go over every single attachment in the game, what you need for them, and what some of them even look like. Before we get into it, shout out to these guys that left comments on some of my previous videos, and if you want to be included in a future video, make sure to drop a comment down below. And now let's get into it. So to craft your attachments, you need to go over here to the crafting station, and there is a whole tab with a ton of different attachments. For each attachment, I'm going to teach you exactly what you need to craft them and what some of them look like, especially the optics, because not a lot of people even know what the 8 times, the 6 times, 2 to 4 times even look like as an optic. So on screen right now is every single item you need to craft every single attachment. So if you wanted to stock up on supplies to be able to craft every single item in the game, take a screenshot, and this is every single item you need to craft an attachment. But now let's get into the details of each and every section. So muzzles start us off. We have medium suppressor and we have small suppressor. To craft these items, you need hydraulic pistons, smart mesh, and aluminum scrap. On the bottom left of the screen, you'll see that I wrote down the best locations for each item on bright sands. So if you're struggling with where to go, look at the bottom left. They're all labeled down there, and go find some of these items. I rock a suppressor each and every single game, and you have to understand that suppressor is honestly the most important attachment in the game, in my opinion. Because if you want to stay discreet and make sure that you see the enemy and hear the enemy before they see and hear you, suppressors are the way to go. Now for optic, there are 3 items you need to craft every single optic in the game. The only difference is the holographic sight, as it's the only optic that requires hardened metals. So for the holographic sight, you need hardened metals and optic glass, and that's super easy to craft. 2 extremely common items to find. And now for every other sight in the game, you're gonna need optic glass again, but you're gonna need print resin. This print resin can be found again. Look at the bottom left of the screen. I have all the locations that I've found the most print resin on. This isn't from any charts or anything. It's from the best locations that I've found these items on. Now on screen, you're gonna see some gameplay with each attachment. First, the holographic sight. It's a wider variant of a scope. It does have a really nice reticle that I thoroughly enjoy, and the holographic sight is honestly my favorite optic in the game when I'm using the shatter gun or the flechette. It's a really good optic because you can see a lot of everything around you. For the 4x scope, this scope is also very beneficial just because I love how it looks. A lot of people rock the 2x scope on the sniper, and again, just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's good. I love the 4x scope because the 2x scope, you can see decently far, but when you have that 4 times, that extra zooming, that extra magnification, you could hit that extra shot that you really couldn't see the enemy on with a 2 times. Now for the 2 to 4 variable optic scope, this one is not my favorite. I don't like the reticle. It's a little peculiar. I'm not the biggest fan, but some of you might be. Again, you have the zoom in capabilities, so if you love that 2 times, but you also want to be able to look at that 4 times distance, this is the scope for you. It's also very good for the snipers, DMRs. I think I would cap my DMRs like the lacerator at like a 4 times. I don't know if I'd go above it. Again, you could try it out. Maybe it'll work for you as a 6 or an 8 times, but for me, the 2 to 4 times is a really good scope if you're like transitioning between the optics and those optic sizes. Now for the 6 times scope, this is a really awesome scope because it is a very deep zoom in. I love the reticle. The reticle is what makes it for me. Some of the reticles, like the 2 to 4 times optic reticle, I just don't like, but this one on the 6 time looks really good and works really well. I use this on my sniper because again, the bolty, the $6,800 bolty, the white variant of a bolt action sniper rifle, is literally the best gun in the game right now, so you might as well rock it with a really good scope. With this scope, you don't have the variable capability. You can't switch between lenses, but you can have a really good magnification, and it looks really good. Now for the 8 times scope, this is one scope that I never used before today. I had no idea that you could see how far away something is with this scope. It shows you how many meters something is. So if you want to make a call out, dude, guy in the left with blue, he's 60 meters away, and if you have the scope on, you can actually see how far away he is. This is a really deep zoom in scope, but it's pretty fun to use, and it's honestly not that bad for that far range encounter. And if you're countering a drill, it can be really useful. So you could see them from really far away, and maybe they don't have this optic and they can't see you. Now with the optics all out of the way, we're gonna go over the magazines. Each magazine is used for something different, but they all have the exact same crafting recipe. You're gonna need hydraulic pistons, Kotek multi-tools, and clear veltacite. These items are fairly easy to find. Hydraulic pistons you can find practically everywhere. If I'm honest, I find them by abandoned mine, find them in jungle. Sometimes you find them in science. You find them literally everywhere. The only problem is you need 5 of them for each attachment, and you need them for a lot of attachments. So if you find hydraulic pistons, start stacking them up, because if you want to make 3 attachments, that's 15 pistons gone. So make sure you stack those up. For Kotek multi-tools, again, look in the bottom left of the screen. I have all locations there. Those are decently easy to find. Again, I've been collecting for a little bit, so I've mounted a couple. And for clear veltacite, again, take a pickaxe, go mining. I literally mined for 3 to 4 hours yesterday trying to find pure veltacite. Oh god, it was terrible, but we did it. In that 3 to 4 hour period of me mining, I've probably found 20 21 to 30 clear Veltosite. It's not that hard to find. It's fairly rare, but it's really common if you compare it to pure Veltosite and Veltosite hearts. Now for stocks, there are only two variables in the game. There is the MKM Ultralight stock and the Ultralight stock. These two are used for different weapon types. The MKM is used for snipers and DMR, and the Ultralight is used for everything else in the game. To craft both the items, you're gonna need one shock absorber, but they do vary on the second item. For the first stock, you're gonna need Kotek multi-tools, and for the second stock, you're gonna need miniature reactors. So for the shock absorber, these are fairly common to find. They are a purple variant, but I honestly have found a lot because I don't usually use them. I don't craft them too much, but again, look in the bottom left of the screen, best locations to find them. For the Kotek multi-tool, we've already gone over that, so again, look bottom left if you'd like. Now for the miniature reactors, these are fairly easy to find just because you know where they're gonna be. If you complete a puzzle on any map, you get 1 to 2 miniature reactors. Depends on where you go. I know the one at base camp, the puzzle there gives you 2. I know each and every puzzle on Bright Sands only gives you 1, but these puzzles are really easy to do, and you can build them up fairly quickly. Now for the last thing, we have grip. There's one grip, tactical foregrip, works for everything in the game, and all you need is hydraulic pistons, Kotek multi-tool, clear Veltosite. That crafting recipe of the 3 items is super common for a lot of attachments. We've gone over so many attachments, and for almost all of them, you've needed 5 hydraulic pistons. So if you want to make one loadout with the gun loaded with purple attachments, that's like 30 pistons right there. So you gotta collect these things, build them up, make sure you have a line in your inventory, but you gotta start crafting these attachments because they can really give you an advantage in controlling your recoil, making sure your gun doesn't bump too far anyway, but it's a really good thing to do, and you should really look into crafting all of these items as soon as you can just to give you that little bit of an advantage, hopefully make your life elongate in each and every raid. Again, here's a picture of everything you need to craft each and every attachment in the game. So again, take a screenshot if you want, enjoy it. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed. I stream on YouTube almost every day, so make sure to hop in there, join the Discord, link in the description if you want to know when I go live. I love you guys. Thank you so much for helping make my dreams come true. Honest to God, you're changing my life every day. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.